Alright, so as I film this, I'm getting ready to go out. I'm seeing two Broadway shows today, and I forgot to pre-record this, yesterday, so I'm doing it right now. The Flintstones had 4 Christmas specials, and I wanted to talk about all of them because, well, Christmas. I'm sure you all know, what the Flintstones are, so I don't really have to do, a whole, ooh, who are the Flintstones thingy. No, we're not doing that today. So, let's just talk about the first Christmas special called Christmas Flintstone, or How the Flintstones Saved Christmas. It's the first Christmas special they ever made, originally airing on ABC on Christmas Day of 1964, as the 5th episode of the show's 5th season. A storyline similar to the episode's plot was used 13 years later for the 1977 primetime special, Flintstones Christmas.
Yabba-dabba fruit, delicious do. Ho, 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 I'm hungry. Santa, my pebbles. Your pebbles? 'Tis the season to be sharing, Fred. Happy holidays, pal. Oh, Fred. Fruity and Cocoa Pebble cereals, part of this nutritious breakfast. Ho, 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 ho.
The episode opens with Fred and Barney walking around downtown Bedrock at Christmas time, with Fred explaining that he needs extra money to buy presents for his family and friends. Fred then sees a sign advertising an opening for a part-time job at Macy Rock Department Store, which I think is like a parody of Macy's. So he applies for the job, though he does not yet know what the job is. Okay, I guess he's one of those people. Anyways, when he tells it to Wilma at dinner that evening, she says that she's not sure she likes the idea of him working 2 jobs, but Fred explains that the second job will only be for a week. The next afternoon, after quitting time at the quarry, Fred heads off to Macy Rocks and is assigned to provide work in the gift wrapping department. Later, while on stockroom duty, Fred takes a look around the toy department and starts goofing off. Mr. Macy Rock catches Fred goofing off and orders him to get the stock down to the basement as ordered. Fred tries taking the freight elevator only to find out that it's out of order, and Mr. Macy Rock fires him. Just then, though, Mr. Macy Rock's assistant tells him that the man they hired to play Santa Claus is sick, and they have not been able to get anyone else to play Santa. So they get Fred to be the store's Santa Claus. Fred does a terrific job portraying Santa Claus for the children at the store, and has a great time doing so. When he arrives home that evening, Fred explains to Wilma and later to Barney and Betty about how he got the job as Santa. As the week goes on, Fred does such a great job portraying Santa at the store that he even makes a live television appearance on Christmas Eve. Right after closing time, Fred is suddenly visited by 2 elves named Blinky and Twinky. Yeah, this was a great time back then. At first, he initially thinks they're just 2 kids in costumes until they bring him into Santa's flying sleigh and take off into the air. At the North Pole, Fred meets the real Santa Claus who has a cold and can't go on his annual Christmas Eve flight. Therefore, Santa gives Fred the assignment of filling in for him. Fred takes on this task and, with Blinky and Twinky guiding the sleigh, manages to deliver Santa's presents to all the houses in the world, all while wishing Merry Christmas everywhere. After the job is finished, Blinky and Twinky drop Fred off near his house, but it is only after they have left that Fred realizes he unfortunately left his presents for his family and friends in the sleigh. When Fred arrives home, however, he sees his family and friends with the presents he brought for them. Wilma, Barney, and Betty say to Fred that he was just here in his Santa outfit, giving out their presents, and are glad to see that he had gotten over his cold. Fred looks outside and sees the real Santa Claus, still with a cold, flying in the sleigh in the sky above after having delivered fresh presents to them. After opening their presents, the Flintstones and Rubbles wish a Merry Christmas to everyone.
Fred Flintstone.
Who are you?
The ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. Start sharing your Cocoa Pebbles with poor Barney Rubble, or this is your fate.
Oh, no! I can change. I can share. See?
Merriest chocolatey taste.
How's my future look now? Dino? Kids? Barney!
Be nice, Daddy. Santa's watching you.
Happy holidays, Bon.
Yay!
Post Cocoa Pebble cereal, part of this good breakfast.
Bless us, everyone.
Flintstones Christmas is the second Christmas special based on the Flintstones, though it is the third Flintstones Christmas special in chronological order. Originally aired on NBC on December 7th of 1977, it is not to be confused with the original series episode, Christmas Flintstone, though the basic plot is more or less the same. It has since re-aired on the USA Network, TNT, Cartoon Network, Boomerang, MeTV Toons as part of the 'Tis the Season for Toons, and once on ABC Family as part of the 25 Days of Christmas. The special opens the night before Christmas Eve as Fred and Barney are walking through downtown Bedrock. Barney is donating change to all the Salvation Army Santas they pass by, with Fred remarking, "You'd never catch me in one of those outfits," apparently forgetting that he played Santa at Macy Rock once before. The next morning, Fred is putting the finishing touches on decorating his family's Christmas tree when the rebels come by. After the tree is decorated, Wilma and Betty ask Fred to play Santa Claus at the ladies' auxiliary Christmas party for the Bedrock Orphanage, but he refuses, saying his co-workers would never let him live it down. When Fred arrives at the rock quarry later that morning, though, he is informed that Mr. Slate wants to see him. Fred ponders as to why his boss wants to see him about as he makes his way to Mr. Slate's office. He worries about being fired, but he's not being fired because Mr. Slate and his wife also want Fred to play as Santa at the ladies' auxiliary party at the orphanage. But, of course, this time he agrees because, well, it's his boss, so, I mean, you know how standards were back then. When Fred arrives home that evening, he tells Wilma that he has decided to accept the offer of playing Santa at the party. He then tries on the Santa costume that Mr. Slate provided for him, and Barney comes by. But Wilma and Betty leave early to get things ready for the party, taking Pebbles and Bam Bam, who are now elementary school age, which indicates that this special takes place a few years after Flintstones Christmas Carol and several years before the Pebbles and Bam Bam show that I will one day get into in a separate video. As soon as the wives leave, though, Fred and Barney hear a noise outside and find a man in a Santa outfit having crashed in front of Fred's house. The man has sprained his ankle, so they bring him inside so he can use Fred's phone, which he uses to call the North Pole. Fred thinks that it's a crazy person who he thinks is a Santa Claus and has escaped from the asylum. But then Barney looks at Fred's roof and sees Santa's magic sleigh and reindeer. Upon seeing this and realizing that this is the real Santa, Fred and Barney find that Santa Claus has also caught a code. So, I guess this isn't the first time. Fred suggests that Santa could get someone to fill in for him this Christmas, at which point Barney points out that Fred would be perfect for that because, well, he did it last time. With that, Santa gives Barney an elf costume and lends his own suit to Fred, and then gives him some pointers on flying the sleigh. I'm just gonna skip ahead a bit, this is getting really long. So, they deliver all the presents, and yada yada yada, they go to the party, yada yada yada. Back at Fred's house, Santa congratulates the duo on a job well done, and takes back his suit. After Santa leaves, Wilma and Betty, who are rather angry that their husbands took so long to show up at the party, and the wives, whatever, they arrive home with the kids, and Fred and Barney explain to their wives that the reason they took so long was because they were busy delivering Santa Claus's presents. But, of course, they have a hard time believing that, but they're willing to forgive them for what happened. The two couples then exchange presents, with Fred's present for Wilma being a pair of earrings, magically coming from the chimney. Pebbles and Bam Bam then see Santa flying away in the sky, at which, at that point, Fred and Barney rush to the window and wave to Santa.
It's the Fruity Pebbles trick-off! Ow! Barney's got Fred's Pebbles!
Extreme fruity flavors!
What's this? Barney's been ambushed!
Got my pebbles. Bedrock's fruitiest.
Barney's back! Uh-oh! Fred's out of bounds! He fumbles the bowl!
I got it!
Look at him go! Avalanche! But now, a word from Post Fruity Pebbles cereal, part of this good breakfast.
Hey, I won.
Not for long.
We have another Christmas special, and that's before we get into the Flintstones Christmas Carol. This one I think is really cute, though, because it's the only Flintstones production set after the events made for the TV movies I Yabba Dabba Do and Holly Rock Goodbye Baby. That's when Pebbles and Bam Bam get married and have twins, a boy and a girl. It's also the Flintstones series finale in chronological order, unless one counts Fred's guest appearance on The Great Adventures of Billy and Mandy. This special originally aired on ABC on December 19th of 1993, and later aired in annual reruns on Cartoon Network and Boomerang. Oh, also it's called the Flintstones Family Christmas, I forgot to mention that. Fred Fred gets into the Christmas spirit by hanging up some decorations and being altogether joyful while waiting for his daughter Pebbles and her husband Bam Bam and their twins Roxy and Chip to come visit for Christmas. After learning that they will arrive at 4 p.m., Fred and Barney leave to get their turkey saurus for dinner. However, on their way back home, they are mugged by a street corner Santa. That man's kind of fucked up. Fred hands over his wallet and watch and orders Barney to give him the bird. But while tossing the turkey saurus, the Santa breaks in half. Seizing the opportunity, Fred and Barney run away from the mugger. Later, at the police station, Fred and Barney identify the thief, who later turns out to be a caveless abandoned child named Stony. According to the social worker, Stella Kite, Stony used to be the horror of numerous foster homes because of his stealing habits. Feeling sympathy for Stony, Wilma decides to adopt him, despite Fred's initial reluctance. So I guess Stony is now an adopted sibling for Pebbles. Anyways, they try to show Stony that they trust him and attempt to teach him that stealing is wrong. Things get a bit bleak though, because Pebbles and her family get stuck at the airport because of a blizzard. The Rebels and the Flintstones then go to Christmas tree shopping, but they can't afford any that aren't smaller than their grandchildren. Stony attempts to help by convincing people to bet on him as he plays a game in order to earn money for the Flintstones to buy the tree. When a man loses, he chases Stony, who runs for cover near Fred. The man claims that Stony cheated him, and Fred asks the boy if this is true. Stony then truthfully replies yes, and when Fred believes him, the man clobbers him in the head with a tree. That man's kind of fucked up, and Fred's now in the hospital. Anyways, Mr. Slate informs Fred that he can't participate in the Christmas parade, which is something Fred was quite eager to do since the beginning of the special, due to his accident. And when he tries to protest, Mr. Slade says no to make it up to Fred, though. Stony becomes Mr. Slade's driver and locks him up in the Flintstones' bathroom, which he thinks will allow Fred to participate in the parade. Instead, Fred saves his boss, but ends up in jail, sharing the cell with Stony. Man, this is a really weird special. But again, this is the 90s. Although Fred's angry, initially at Stony for putting him in jail, he eventually finds himself bonding with the kid. However, Stella comes by and, believing that things didn't work out, takes Stony away, but not before he leaves a gift for Fred behind. Meanwhile, Mr. Slate, seeing that Fred seems to have healed from his injury, allows him to participate at the parade. At the parade, Wilma and the Rebels inform Fred that Pebbles and Bam Bam have managed to get out of the airport and will be arriving soon. But Fred is saddened about Stony being taken away now that he's finally realized he wasn't such a bad kid. After looking at the gift Stony left for him, Fred takes control of the sleigh he was riding and retrieves Stony, telling Stella that Stony's got a home for the holidays. Later at the Flintstones' residence, Pebbles and Bam Bam sing Christmas carols with their folks, and Stony bonds with Chip and Roxy. Fred says that it is now time for the newest member of their family to put the star on the tree. Stony thinks that Fred is referring to Roxy and Chip, but they're just babies, so obviously no. But it's him, because he's now been adopted into family, so canonically, Stony is part of the family.
Watch me trick Fred out of his pebbles. Santa! Merry Christmas! Got some fruity pebbles for old Saint Nick? Sure! Ho, ho, ho! I've been a good boy! Santa! Ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Fred and Barney! Barney, my pebbles! Careful, Fred. Santa's watching. Ho, ho, ho.
Happy holidays from Post Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast.
Flintstones Christmas Carol is the fourth Christmas special. It came out in 1984. Chronologically, it takes place in between the original series and A Flintstone Christmas, which is the one I just read to you guys. Well, not really. A Flintstones Christmas was the second one I read to you guys. It's kind of confusing. But what you need to know about this one is that basically this is just the Flintstones, but with it's Christmas Carol but with the Flintstones. Oh, but they're doing a play, so it's not really the Flintstones and Christmas Carol. It's just that they're doing a play of Christmas Carol, and Charles Dickens in this universe is called Charles Brickens. That's kind of funny. Anyways, that's the whole video. The play goes well. I don't know what you want me to say. It's literally just Christmas Carol, but with the Flintstones. Looks really good, though. I mean, looks great. Good job, guys. Good job, Hanna-Barbera. You guys did swell. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next Christmas video, which is, what is my next Christmas video? Oh, it's so for this one, this is specifically for my friend Bob. Although I wanted to talk about Frasier Christmas episodes, I found out that his favorite show, Third Rock from the Sun, has a Christmas episode. So Bob, this is for you.